Can you give us a quick background of who you are and what you do?
So I'm just a 23-year-old doing real estate on a day-to-day basis. Graduated from college December of 2021. I actually started in real estate before I even graduated, and I've been doing it ever since. I mean, I'm a guy who loves sports, basketball, football, now baseball because the Rangers are in the World Series, first time in 12 years, and so just anything regarding sports. Those are my hobbies. Play basketball all the time. I'm actually running IBA, which is Smiley Basketball Association. I'm the commissioner for that, and so I have that coming up in I think 3 weeks. And so planning that, doing real estate, just hustling.
Why real estate?
I always wanted to do something where I would be my own boss. I was never the most creative, so growing up, I used to always think of ways that, hey, this is what I could do, or this is what I could do, but I was never creative enough to really create my own business or invention or whatever it may be. I love Shark Tank growing up, so I used to always think of what business can I create to go on Shark Tank one day and be there. But like I said, I was never really creative enough to do that, so I just kept trying to think of ways of being able to be my own boss without having to be that creative and having a solid business plan, business structure in place. And so I was actually watching Selling Sunset, a TV show on Netflix, and I was like, this seems awesome. Why don't I just do this? And so I think my junior year of college, I was like, let's do it. And so I dove in, got my real estate license, and haven't looked back since.
What were some pivotal decisions you made after college that played a crucial role in shaping your current position as a real estate agent?
So I didn't actually do anything after college. A lot of this stuff happened while I was still in college. So like I said, junior year, I was watching that TV show, and it just flipped a switch. I mean, my girlfriend is actually the one who wanted to be a realtor before me, but I swooped under her and took it. And I got my license, I think, my second semester of my junior year. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to graduate a semester early. So I graduated that following December, my first semester of my senior year. And yeah, I think the most pivotal decision I made was starting early, because if I had waited another 6 months, waited until after I graduated to take this step, I would be 6 to 8 months behind and still be trying to grow. But the fact that I started early while I was still in college gave me a step ahead. And I actually had my first sale while I was still in college, I believe.
Nice. So did you join like a firm or was it an internship?
No, so I actually got my license. So when you get your license as a real estate agent, you have to join a firm. You have to join a brokerage. You can't be your own agent. You have to be tied with a brokerage. And so, yeah, I started off, I joined a brokerage right off the bat. That's where I feel like I made one of my mistakes, is I joined a cloud-based brokerage, which is not too hands-on, self-learning, self-paced. That's how I thought I learned at that time. But looking back at it, I wish I had more of a structure, more of a in-person team-based environment where I could learn from people who had been in the business for 20 years, 30 years, that had been through everything that I was going through at that time, so that I didn't have as much of a learning curve. That's where I feel like I made a mistake.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to be 18 to get your license,
Yes.
right? Would you recommend someone in college, because most people when they enter college they're 18, would you recommend them as soon as they enter to work towards getting their license?
If that's something that they want to do, yes, I would. I would start young. A lot of the people that I know that are doing well at the age of 23, 24 in real estate started early. They started at the age of 20, 19, whatever it may be. And so starting early, if you know that that is what you want to do, is always great. But if you're half in it, half out of it, I wouldn't, because real estate's a profession where you have to either all in or all out. You can't really be part-time in this because of how much work it takes.
Do you think college is important for realtors?
I think learning is important. Education is important, whatever it may be, because I know a lot of successful real estate agents who never went to college. One of the most influential people on Instagram right now, Ben Wegman, he didn't go to college. He went to college and he dropped out before he even graduated because he started doing so well in real estate. But education and knowledge is very important, because you have to know how to have marketing skills, you have to have selling skills, you have to have knowledge about the finance world overall because of the way the markets are moving, the way the markets are shifting, interest rates, the overall macro economy. You got to know all about all of that. And so having that knowledge base and continuously learning is very important in real estate.
If someone does want to go to college to be a real estate agent, what do you think they should major in? And I know the obvious answer would be real estate, but you did a finance major, I think, with a concentration in real estate. What combination of majors do you think would be most beneficial for real estate agents? Do you think something like psychology would be helpful?
I feel like psychology could be helpful. The main thing that I would do is marketing and selling. So UTD, where I went, they had one of the best sales program in the nation. I actually got admitted into it, but I decided not to take it for whatever reason. But I feel like taking sales classes is good. It would be very beneficial because what is real estate? It's sales. It's sales, and so having that sales background, having that knowledge about sales and how to build those relationships with the people would be very beneficial when it comes to real estate. And so finance obviously is one that I would say mixing that in with marketing and sales that would be a great combination.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but you said most realtors, they get to be on their own time. They get to live the life of an entrepreneur, but they have a business model that's already made for them. Could you talk a little bit more about that? How appealing that is to you in your current lifestyle?
I love it. I absolutely love it. When there's days that I just want to hang out with my friends and go play basketball, I can do that. But that's not to say that I can't grind. I probably work more hours than a normal person that works a 9 to 5 because I'm working at 9 p.m. sometimes, just because I know that the amount of work that I put in is the amount of success that I'm going to get at the end. And so, yes, it comes with a lot of freedom, and I can do whatever I want at whatever time. I can take as many vacations as I want. But then on the other side, if I do that too much, that'll hurt my business. And so it's a balance, and I really like it because of the flexibility. But it's also very fulfilling knowing that whatever I'm working for is going to come directly back to me rather than someone else and going into someone else's pockets. It's going to come directly into me.
You also get to be completely in charge of how much you're making, and to a lot of people that kind of seems a little bit scary.
Yep.
But this was also a conversation I had on my last podcast where I talked to a lawyer. He had his own law firm, and the benefit of that was to him, he got to make as much as he wanted to because he was in control of how much he was making.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I love it. I love it. I mean, I'm a big risk taker, and I have always been that way. And so, yes, I have the potential to earn $0 in one year. I also have the potential to earn over $1 million in another year. And so that trade off is worth it for me because working a 9 to 5 coming out of college, the maximum I'll make is about $80,000 to $100,000 maybe. And that's if I'm very, very lucky. I'm on track to make that this year. And my potential for next year is a lot higher. And so coming out of college, I was like, am I satisfied with just making barely 6 figures for the next 10 years? Or do I want to make 6 figures off the bat and then have the potential to make 7 figures within the next 5? And so that's why I was like, okay, yes, there's a very big risk that I might not make anything some of the years and I might go 6 months without earning a commission check. But the fact that I have the potential to make as much as I want, that's what appealed me.
What are your thoughts on the current Dallas real estate market? I feel like a lot of people right now are moving to Dallas, and we also have Universal coming here, which drives a lot of real estate. How do you think that's going to affect the overall market?
It already has. I mean, right when that Universal news came out, you saw even more people going to Frisco than already were. Prices in Frisco were insane compared to what they were just 4 years ago before COVID. The same house that you could buy back then for like $600K in Frisco now goes for over $1 million. And so the Dallas market has always been strong. It's gotten even stronger now that there's so many people moving in. If you actually look at the data from 2008 in the financial crisis, the housing market collapse, the Dallas market was one of the least affected markets in all the U.S. While other markets were dropping by 40 to 50% in terms of their home prices, we dropped about 20%, 25%, I believe. I'm not sure the exact statistic, but we barely dropped compared to what other people were dropping that year. Same thing is happening right now. A lot of cities, a lot of areas around the country right now are getting hit hard because of these 8%, 8+% interest rates. While Dallas, I don't think I've seen much drop at all in terms of prices. Prices have stayed very steady here, and that's at 8%. When it comes down to even 6% in the next year or so, which a lot of people are expecting it to, this market is going to go berserk. The amount of people that are moving in from California, New York, Idaho, all these different places, they're moving to Dallas. And so the demand here is crazy high. It has been crazy high, and it will remain crazy high. The only thing that's not changing is the supply. The supply is staying low, and I don't see that going anywhere. And so the Dallas market is going to remain hot.
How do you envision the future of real estate as a whole, especially for individuals pursuing a career as a realtor?
I think AI is going to affect it, but not as much as people think. Real estate's a relationship business. People who are on the lower end of real estate, like a couple hundred, like the low end of homes, those might get taken over by these big firms and AI, and people are just buying and selling it themselves. But on the higher end, the high income earners, people who make a lot of money and don't really have time to do it themselves, real estate agents are still going to be viable for them because they don't have time to go out and sell the house themselves or buy the house themselves or search for a house themselves. And AI is going to come in terms of the selling part of things where it's going to help market a certain house or write listing descriptions or just help automate the whole process of being a realtor. And so you have to really be tech savvy and innovative in this industry itself to be able to survive, because obviously it is relationship based, but technology is coming in very strong into our space.
What indicators or qualities should someone look for to determine if a career in real estate is right for them?
The first thing that I would say that people should see if they have within themselves is people skills. Like I said, it's a relationship business. If people can't like you, they're not going to want to use you. They're not going to want to be your clients. They're not going to want to work with you. And so you need to have great people skills. You need to have a strong willing and knowledge to learn, because the market's shifting. Every single day there's something new going on, especially in today's environment with the rates changing every single day. You have to be able to learn on the fly and accept that you do not know everything. People who have been in the industry for 30 years have said even they're learning something new every single day, every single transaction. So you have to be willing to accept that, hey, I don't know everything, and lean on the people who know more than you. There's always someone out there in your brokerage that you know, your friends, your colleagues, that are going to know more than what you know. So being able and having the maturity to lean on them when you do need to know that extra information is very key, and not having that ego that, hey, I know everything, I know how to do everything myself. I have a mentor right now who brought me onto her team, and she's a fourth generation Dallas native. She's been doing real estate for I think 30 plus years. And whenever I have a question, I put my ego to the side. I'm like, hey, Stevie, how do I do this? What's the answer to this? Like, I go up to her and just flat out ask her, because I know that I don't know everything. And so having someone that knows more than me, and me being able to put my ego aside and ask her that question, being vulnerable and saying that, hey, I don't know everything, can you teach me, is huge in this industry.
What's the benefit of having a mentor in real estate versus not having one? How broad do you think the gap is?
Oh, it's huge. Like I said, I started off in real estate with that cloud-based brokerage, and I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone guiding me and telling me what to do and teaching me what not to do to start off. And it really sucked. It took a long time for me to learn and make mistakes and just grow, versus now that I have a mentor, I can just ask her, hey, I want to do this. How do I do it? And she tells me, because she's been doing it for so long. And so not having a mentor is very hard. It's very hard because you're learning on the fly and making mistakes. You'll still survive if you have the grind, if you have the will, and if you have the want to stay in real estate. You'll survive. You'll make it. You'll just be a year or two behind the curve, and it'll take a year or two for you to get all those mistakes out of the way before you can get to where someone with a mentor started off.
How do you go about finding a mentor?
Networking. I found my mentor actually working a deal. So I was trying to find a house for one of my clients. She was the listing agent on the house. Called her up, talked about the deal, and then she saw something in me. So she started talking to me like, why are you at EXP, the cloud-based brokerage. Why are you with them? You seem like a bright young guy. Why'd you choose them? And then we started talking. I started asking her questions, and then she offered to bring me on. So it's just networking, being right place, right time. One guy, he's told me, luck surface area. So people always say, "Hey, you got lucky. You got lucky. You got that as your mentor." But it's about putting yourself in positions to get lucky. I don't know if you know Danish Pradhan.
I think so.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the one who said this. Luck surface area, where you have to put yourself in certain positions so that you have a higher opportunity to get lucky, and that's what he does. He goes to he goes to a summer league every year, not as a fan, just like, hey, he might run into someone that has a connection somewhere or something, and it's stuff like that where just putting yourself out there and putting yourself in position to get lucky.
Who do you think real estate is not for?
People who want security. They don't like taking risks. They don't like the chances of making $0 in a year. The people who get anxious about that, because there's been times where I went 8 months and I didn't earn a single dollar within that 8 months, and so it can be nerve-wracking because you don't know when you'll get paid next. Versus normal 9 to 5, every Friday or the first day of the month you're getting paid. In this, you don't know if you're getting paid for the next month or what's going to happen. And so if you're nervous about that, this is not the industry for you. And then if you don't have good people skills, you won't survive.
In your experience, besides having good people skills, what are some of other important skills that a successful realtor should possess?
I would say the willingness to learn was the biggest thing. I mean, putting your ego aside and being willing to learn every single day. It's not like, hey, today I want to learn, I'm going to go into this class and learn. But no, I'm like, even while talking to a random client, I pick up on certain little cues that, hey, okay, I should have done this differently. I should have done this differently. Maybe if I did this differently, I could have made this sale. It's just constantly adapting, constantly learning. Adapting, that's what would be the biggest thing. Adapting to your surroundings, adapting to your client, because every client is different. Some people like it when you're a lot more hands-on. Some people like it when when you take a step back and just let them do a lot of the legwork. So it's adapting to the way your clients are and the way the market is at that time.
How do you continue to develop and refine your skills in a constantly evolving market?
Every day, I try to be the most sociable person ever. Not ever, but I try to be the most sociable person that I can be myself, talking to people, being friendly to people, being the best person that I can be to people. So that's one thing for that aspect of real estate. But when it comes to adaptation, I like to never let certain things affect my day-to-day basis. And that's why I feel like I'm adaptable, and I don't really let my surroundings affect me that much, and I'm able to change my viewpoints, change my path according to what's needed for that certain situation. And that doesn't just involve real estate, that involves anything that I do in my daily life.
Can you share insights into how you approach selling and maintaining client relationships in the real estate business?
So that's one thing that I'm still working on. I'm not good. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not great at it. That's why I feel like I wish I took the sales classes in college, because that would have helped me a lot. But I mean, what I'm trying to do is just maintain a relationship, touch base with them every so often, seeing how their day-to-day basis, how their daily life is going. If they have a certain big occasion, like if they're having a baby, ask them about that. Just staying connected to them, even not regarding real estate, just regarding their daily life. If they have a big anniversary coming up, or you see they post something on social media about something that happened in their life, they went on a trip or something like that, following up that way, just to show that, hey, I'm not just here to do business with you, I'm here to build a relationship with you.
So your socials and website are structured so well. It's obvious your marketing as a real estate agent is top notch. How important do you think it is for realtors to focus on how they market themselves?
It's very important, because the first thing that people do when they hear about you, or someone refers them to you, or whatever it may be, they search you up. Especially with nowadays on Google and everything, the first thing they do is search your name and see testimonials or what your branding and online presence looks like. And so it's very important to have that, not luxury, but like proper representation of who you are on your socials and on your website so that people know what they're getting. And so having that brand recognition, having that marketing, and having that online presence is crucial.
How do you build that up?
For social media, it's just having a uniform way of posting content, however often you post. For me, I'm trying to do it daily. I haven't been doing the best at posting daily, but posting consistently and posting uniformly, making sure all my content looks cohesive. With my website, I have a company that helps me build my website and maintain that website.
So you talked about the importance of networking and how it's one of the most important skills and how important it is in real estate. How do you feel like is the best way to network? Is it through LinkedIn? Is it through sending cold emails to realtors, getting to know them?
For me, it's neither of those. It's natural. I mean, I don't go out of my way to network with people because I feel like personally, if people do that to me, I feel like it's a little pushy and sometimes I don't like it as much. So I just try to make it natural. And I approach people either in person or at an event or whatever it may be. But I try to do it more personable rather than a cold email where they know that that email is being sent to 500 other people as well. If I do it in person, they know that, hey, this is just one-on-one. It's happening right now rather than an email, which, like I said, it could be going to however many people.
How do you go from approaching them to actually building a long-term relationship with them?
That's something that I'm still working on. I'm still growing. I don't know how to get there yet, but over time, what I've learned is don't be transactional based. Don't look at it. Hey, don't look at it like, hey, this person is going to give me X amount of business. Look at it like, hey, I like this guy. I want to be friends with him. That's it. And then what's going to happen is going to happen. But people go into networking with the mindset that, hey, this is going to bring me business. I need to do this for my business. That's not how it should be. Networking should be, I just want to meet new people, period. And that's it. Whatever happens after that with regards to your business is a benefit. But you should go into networking just going to meet new people.
What do you perceive as the major barriers to entry for someone looking to start a career in real estate? Because from what I know, it's pretty simple. You get your license and then you're eligible, and then you just got to do what we talked about, learn and adapt, network, and find a mentor. Is there anything besides that could be a barrier to entry for someone that's looking to become a realtor?
One would be age, because yes, you need to be 18. But what 35, 40-year-old is going to trust an 18-year-old or 20-year-old with the biggest purchase of their life? So that's one thing that I struggle with, because people see me as, oh, that kid that I saw grow up and everything like that. But why would they trust me when they have 3 other realtors they know that are in their 30s or 40s that have been doing it for 10 years? So it's age, brand recognition. They've known those other people. I just started in real estate. Odds are they know a lot more than I do with regards to the real estate world. So there's that learning curve and that brand establishment that takes place over the first 2 years, which is a big barrier. People get discouraged. A lot of real estate agents drop out of real estate within the first 2 years. I think it's like 60% of realtors drop out within the first 2 years, or some crazy number like that. And so within those first 2 years, you're really just establishing, hey, I'm in it for the long haul. I can be trusted with your business. And so after that happens, after you establish that brand and establish your knowledge base, that's when people start saying, hey, okay, he can be trusted. We can use him.
So I think this applies to a lot of different careers as well. I know for podcasts, most podcasts, I think 99% of podcasts don't make it past episode 20.
Yeah.
And then I heard that those that do, most of them don't make it past episode 30, 40. So I think that's true for everything, because starting out in whatever it is, whether it's real estate or a different career, it obviously is going to be very slow starting out and people get discouraged.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's also true for real estate. You said you had 8 months where you didn't make a single dollar. What drove you to stay in real estate and keep trying even though you weren't seeing the results? And even for like other careers, what's the most important thing to have to stick with what you're doing?
It's just the fact that I'm not a quitter. I have never been a quitter. And whenever I start something, I see it all the way through. But not just that, it's the fact that I know that this is a grind. I was told coming into this, don't expect to make any money your first 2 years. And I made a good amount of money in the first 2 years. I'm coming up on 2.5 years now. And so I made enough to survive in those first 2 years. And so, yes, it's a struggle not seeing the results that I want. Because obviously, everyone wants that instant gratification, instant satisfaction that, hey, I made $2 million right off the bat. But no, that's not going to happen. And so, yes, it is a struggle. Yes, I had times where I doubted it. Yes, there were times where I wanted to drop out. There were times that I wanted to quit. But just, I knew that if I pushed through, if I kept going, if I stayed consistent, eventually, maybe not 1 year, maybe not 2 years, maybe not 3 years, 4 or 5 years down the line, I'll be where I want to be. I just need to keep going, keep growing, keep putting the time in, keep being consistent, and I'll get to where I want to be.
So you posted on your Instagram story last week, no results, keep working. Bad results, keep working. Great results, keep working. Consistency is key. Don't give up. Reflecting on your journey, we just talked about this a little bit, but to stay consistent, how do you go about that?
It's hard. It's hard, and even I struggle with that sometimes. I don't think I'm the most consistent yet either. There are times where I fall off and start again, and fall off and start again, and do things where I shouldn't be, and don't do things where I should be, and I still haven't mastered the art of consistency yet either. And I can't tell you, it's hard. It's very hard to stay consistent and remain constant throughout. One thing that helps me is I have a amazing girlfriend who's helping me a lot, keeping me in check, saying that, hey, you need to get back in line. You're falling off a little bit. Stay consistent. Keep grinding. And she's been great for that. She's been great for keeping me on the path of consistency. But I can't lie. I mean, there's been times where I've fallen off and I haven't been the most consistent. But that quote's it. No matter what, stay the path, and you'll see results in no time. It's a compounding effect. If you have good results and you keep doing the same stuff that got you those good results, it'll take you to a whole different level. A lot of people see that positive result and they're like, oh, okay, I got it. Now I'm going to stop. And then it goes back down and they have to work back towards that good result. Versus the successful people, they see that good result and they want more. They want more. And so they keep going until it's just a snowball.
So on the last episode, the lawyer that I talked about, I think the main piece of advice that he gave in that episode was, he said one of his mentors once told him 3 words or 4 words, stay in the game. And he put it on a sticky note and put it on his monitor, and that's his way of his business. He said that year 1 may be hard, year 2 may be hard, but year 3, 4, 5, it'll pick up. And he was talking about law. We just talked about real estate, how it's the same for real estate. What do you think is the importance of just staying in the game, and how do you do that?
Very important. And how do I do that? Just knowing that come year 3, 4, and 5, if I stay in the game, it'll get better. If I left, I could have left year 1 and gone to a corporate job, but there's no satisfaction in that for me. I'll be working a 9 to 5, won't have the flexibility, will be capped in the amount of money that I can make in a year, and I'll just be treading water. Versus now, I'm working for myself. I have unlimited potential. I can make the amount that I want to make, and I'm building something for myself.
You also posted this on your story last week, and it really stood out to me. It said, it's the small habits, how you spend your mornings, how you talk to yourself, what you read, what you watch, who you share your energy with, who has access to you. That will change your life. And I think that's one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I've seen, and I think that's because it's something that I need to work on as well, because we don't realize the effect that small things in our life have on us. And this goes into the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Could you share a specific small habit or a routine that you believe has a significant positive effect on your personal and professional life?
I'm still struggling with that myself. I mean, like I said, I don't think I'm the most consistent yet. What I'm trying to do right now is build out a morning routine where I wake up, stretch and do yoga every morning. Obviously, brush my teeth, get a good strong breakfast in, and get a workout in every day. That's how I want to start my days. Get sunlight as well. That's one of the big things. Open my windows, get sunlight, get that natural light, drink a glass of water or two, and just start off the day fresh. I feel like right now there's often times where I just find myself rolling out of bed and trying to get to work, and those days I'm not as productive as the days that I do my full routine where I stretch and do my whole routine. And so I'm trying to get to the point where I'm consistent in every single day. Wake up, hop out of bed, and stretch. Drink a glass of water. Get some sunlight. So that I can be rejuvenated and fresh before I start my daily tasks or whatever it may be. And then at night, I want to be able to get off my screen, get away from my phone, read a book, brush, floss, do my nightly routine, stretch a little bit again, and then obviously read before I go to sleep and stay away from my phone. I feel like there's days where I catch myself on my phone scrolling, and that hurts my sleep. And so I'm trying to get away from that and go more towards books where I can use those books to grow my knowledge as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too because there's a saying, to win the year, you must win the months. To win the months, you must win the weeks. To win the weeks, you must win the days. And to win the days, you must win the mornings. And I feel like winning the mornings, you have to win the night to be able to win the morning, because if you don't get the sleep that you need to get in, if you're scrolling until 12 a.m., then that's going to mess your whole morning up, which is going to mess your whole day up, which then just takes on and then keeps going. It's like a domino effect. And I feel like just getting that part right will do so much for you succeeding in whatever you're doing, because it'll give you the time that you need to actually put in the work on whatever you're working on. But could you go through a day in your life?
So every day looks different for me. I mean, there's some days where if I have showings, it looks a certain way, and if I don't have any showings, it looks a certain way. But what I can tell you, the things that I like to do more often than not is obviously wake up. I want to be able to do my morning routine. I'm going to follow up with my clients that I currently have. I'm going to see where they're at in their process, talk to them about certain homes that I've sent them. If I have any sellers, like I have two listings on the market right now, so update the sellers on any showings that might have come up. If there's any offers on the table, I would update them on that. And then the next thing I would do is work on prospecting, work on ways to gain new clients, work on an email campaign, work on social media posts, work on other ways that I can increase my clientele. And then I like to go work out, get a quick lift in, play some basketball, just to get my physical health intact. And that also plays a little role into my mental health, just being able to take a step back and just get my mind off of things. And then come home, shower, change, get dinner ready, watch some TV, do some more work if needed at that time, and then obviously do my nightly routine.
What are some of your favorite books and other learning material, whether it be for real estate, business, or life in general? I know you talked about how important it is to learn in the real estate space, and you said that college will teach you a good amount, but you're also going to have to do a lot of learning yourself. And a lot of that learning is just in your everyday work, but a good amount of that learning is also on the side, like reading books, watching podcasts, listening to people that are in the real estate space online, giving their advice. Who are some of the people you listen to the most, and what are some of the books that have helped you the most in real estate, business, life in general?
Yeah, so it's not really a podcast, but someone I follow on Instagram, and one of the inspirations for me was Ben Wegman. His game on social media, the way he grew his business solely off Instagram and Twitter, is an inspiration to me, and that's what I'm trying to do myself. And so that's one guy. The next is the book that I'm reading right now. It's to help me build those daily habits and routines for myself. It's seven habits of an extremely
highly effective people.
Yeah. That's the book that I'm reading right now. And so I just started getting into reading, so that's the first book that I'm reading. That's the first book that I wanted to read because I need to establish that base for myself before I can really get into more niche stuff.
So I've been following you for a while, and your Instagram shows how balanced your life is, like you talked about. You went to Europe, you're a big fan of sports and enjoying yourself. At the same time, you're really successful as a realtor. What advice do you have for others to balance their work and life?
I would say a balance is key because if you don't balance and you're completely bought into work, you're going to get burnt out. And if you don't, more power to you. But I know for me, if I just get too caught up in work and that's all I'm focused on, I'm going to get burnt out. And honestly, what's the point of life at that point, in my eyes? We all make money for what reason? To enjoy, to be able to do the stuff we want to do. And so I'm able to do the stuff that I want to do because of the work that I do, because of the work that I put in. So I don't want to be just working and then not be able to enjoy life on the other hand. I like living, I like traveling, I like playing basketball, I like playing sports, I love watching sports. I'm a season ticket holder for the Mavs. I'm going to the Mavs game on Friday. And so just being able to do all that stuff is what makes my life whole because yes, I do have my work. I'm grinding, I'm doing whatever I can to grow my business, but I'm also enjoying life. I'm playing basketball. I play basketball as many times a week as I can. I go every Wednesday at least to play basketball. I play football on Sundays. I watch football on Sundays. And then I travel. I went to Europe right now. I'm going on a cruise in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully I want to go skiing next year because I've never been skiing. And so being able to balance all that stuff together is very key. But you cannot go too far in the personal life of it either because then your business will falter. So it's a very tight balance that you have to find of what works for you.
So talk to me a little bit about your path that led you to get into real estate.
So when I was very, very young, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. There was a time in my life where I wanted to be a weatherman. I would just go onto my computer and search up the Weather Channel, and look at the hurricanes that were going on at that time, and just stuff like that. Just because I thought it was cool to be on TV and be the weatherman on TV. And then eventually I matured, and I decided that hey, maybe I want to do something with computers, because I'd always been the go-to guy for tech in my house whenever something went wrong or my parents needed to fix something or attach something or do whatever. I would be the guy that would help them out, figure it out, or solve the problem that was happening with our technology, whether it be our phones or our tablets, laptops, TV, whatever it may be. And so I was like, hey, I'm good at this. Why don't I just do this for a living? Why don't I do something with computers? This is like freshman year of high school. And so I had no idea what that involved, what it meant. So I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go into computers. And I just started researching careers with regards to computers and technology and IT and all that kind of stuff. And searched up paths that involved a business and technology, because I knew that I liked business as well because I watched a lot of Shark Tank growing up, and Mark Cuban being a Mass fan, seeing Mark Cuban up there and all those other successful billionaires up there, and I was like, hey, I want to do something with business and tech. And so I searched up careers. I took a comp sci class in high school. Didn't enjoy that the most, so I was like, yeah, I want to do something more in the business aspect of tech. And so coming into college, I didn't start off in finance. I started off actually in ITS, Information and Technology Sciences, which is MIS in some other schools. And so started off in that, took an intro to ITS class. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. I don't know why. It didn't appeal to me. I was bored. I hated that class, and so I was like, okay, I need to change majors. This is not for me. I can't do this for a living. I can't stand doing this on a day-to-day basis. And so I went to the guidance counselor. I was like, hey, what are some other paths that I can take in business? And I decided to go, okay. I didn't want to do the typical finance route that every brown boy does. And so I was like, okay, let's do marketing. Let's try that out. Let's see how it works. I took a couple marketing classes. I enjoyed it a little bit. It wasn't bad. I took a sales class, an intro to sales class. I did enjoy liking that a good amount. Like, it was fun. And marketing was kind of fun, but it was a little too creative for me. I'm not that creative. I'm more of the analytical type. And the creativity that was needed for marketing was just a little bit too much for me. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this because I'm not the most creative. Why would someone hire me for their marketing role? Because I'm not that. Sales, maybe, but I didn't know if I wanted to really be in full-time tech sales or medical sales or whatever that may be. And so I was like, okay, screw it. Let's just go to finance. Let's do the typical finance thing. I loved it there. I loved doing finance. I loved the numbers. Um, Aced all my classes. Did really well. Um, Got into investing a little bit, stock trading and stuff like that. And that was fun to me, but I wasn't good at it. I sucked at stock trading. I lost a good amount of money doing that. And so just being in finance, I was like, okay, I want to do something within the finance world, but I still want to do something that I could have my own business in. I could run my own firm in. And I thought about IB, investment banking and private equity, because it's kind of like that. But then I figured out hours are shit. You work a lot of hours in that and you have no personal life. And I was like, I'm going to be making a lot of money, but is that really what I want to do? Do I really want to be working 80 hours a week for the next 3 or 4 years when I'm in my mid 20s? And then I watched Selling Sunset. I followed this guy named Ben Wegman on Instagram. And I was like, why not do real estate? Why not just make that jump? So then I started taking some real estate concentration classes in college, ended up getting my real estate license, and decided that, hey, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is fun. I love houses. I love touring houses. I love looking at houses. And I was like, okay, let's do this. I jumped in full time, second semester junior year, like I said, and haven't looked back since.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's a good question. So I like planning out the next 5 to 10 years. I know it's not going to look anything like that. 5 years ago, if you told me I would be where I'm at today, that's not what I would have said 5 years ago. But I do have a plan in place, and I do know what I want to do. Me and my girlfriend, I'm planning on building an empire. She's gonna join me in real estate because she's more of that creative marketing genius than I am. So my plan is for her to take over all that marketing aspect of real estate while I'm doing the more analytical selling based real estate stuff, up until the point where we have a team around us, where we have 5, 6, maybe 10 agents under us, where she's running my girlfriend's running the marketing, and the agents underneath us are doing a lot more of the selling than I'm doing. When that happens, my goal is to shift over to the commercial side of real estate and start buying, selling commercial properties. And then eventually I want to get into the development space where I'm developing commercial strips of land, commercial buildings, and flipping them, selling them, leasing them, whatever it may be at that time. And so over the next 5 to 10 years, I want to get to the point where I have a solid team around me, to the point that I'm not having to work 60 hours a week and I can step back and work 30 hours a week, be with my kids. I'm going to have hopefully, inshallah, I'll have 2 kids at that point going to kindergarten, elementary school, whatever it may be. I can go to their basketball games, go to the soccer games, be involved in their life, because I want to be involved in my kids' life. I mean, I don't want to be that dad who's just always working, and doesn't know when their kid's next soccer game is at. I want to be the coach for the soccer game. I want to be the coach for their basketball team. And so family is very, very important to me. And so being able to make enough money and have a solid team around me that I can rely on so that I'm able to be that much involved in my family is something that is huge for me. Another layer to that is I also want to open up a gym, like a basketball court gym for Ismailis and honestly the surrounding areas, because getting a gym in this area is expensive and it sucks. It's so hard. Running IBA, it's so hard for me to find a gym at certain times that I want to run the tournament. And so I want to be able to build my own gym where Ismailis can have access, because we spend so much money on renting out these courts. It's crazy. Like during the time when people were training for nationals, the amount of times that I saw Ismailis just taking all 6 of the courts in the gym was crazy. And so that's another step in the goal, that in the next 10, 15 years, I want to be able to accrue enough investors to be able to build a gym for Ismailis the way Houston's done with Pioneer.
Wow, that's really cool. There's a lot of ideas that I want to go a little bit more into. Mm-hmm. One of them was how you talked about first in real estate, going from being a realtor to trying a lot of different things, such as building a team around you, then going into commercial real estate, and then developing your properties. I think all that's really cool, and this goes for any sort of business. You're always like a glorified contractor, or you're still working like a 9 to 5 when you're by yourself, when you're doing what you're doing right now. But the goal for all business owners eventually is to be at that point where your business is making money without you. And that's when you really have that freedom of being an entrepreneur, and like time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, where then you can go spend time with your families. And that's when you really have figured life out. So I think that's very cool that you have that
That's
plan.
the end goal. That's the
Yeah,
end
I think
goal.
that's the end goal for me too, and most entrepreneurs, that's the way we think. And it's always about delegating and then creating that, getting to that point, versus it is where we're starting out doing everything by
Yeah.
ourselves. I think it's very cool. And also the gym part, it's very obvious that you have that like business owner, entrepreneur inside you, where like now I can see that, oh, you went into real estate to have your own freedom, but also you're still thinking of ideas of
Yeah.
building a team around you and then trying different endeavors outside of real estate, such as that gym. I think it's all really cool, and I wish you the best of luck in it.
Appreciate it, man.
Where can the audience find you online if they have any questions or they're looking to purchase a home?
Instagram would be one of the best ways. Adil RE is my Instagram. You can also go to my website, adilre.com. And and yeah, I mean, Instagram would be the best way because I have all my links and everything there.
Thank you so much for your time today, Adil. I think there was a lot to learn from you in many different areas, and I think your insights were amazing. I definitely learned a lot, and I think so did the audience. Is there any last piece of advice that you'd like to leave off with?
Main thing I would say is whatever you do in life, don't give up. I mean, there's gonna be challenges. You're gonna feel like times where you want to quit. You're gonna have times where things get hard, things get rough, and you can't see what the future holds for yourself. Uh, and sometimes you get lost in that path where you don't see how far you've come. You can have developed and grown so much, but you don't see it because you're taking it and it's been a slow grind to that path. And so never give up, appreciate how far you've come, and appreciate the path that it took to get there. Because, like I said, we get lost. We often, as humans, we get lost in that journey. And so take pride in the fact that you are undertaking a risk, you are doing what you want to do, and if you put the time, effort, and energy into it, you'll get to where you want to be. Whether that be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe even 20 years from now. But if you put the work into it, you'll get to where you want to be.